paper crafters, this is Colette. Today I'd love to show you how I've actually made this beautiful step card using Kaiser Crafts Silver Bells collection. I have to say that this is one of my very favourite Christmas collections. I just love the colour combinations, just beautiful. So let me show you how I've made this foundation for this great card. To start off with, you need a piece of cardstock. I've just used the smooth white cardstock here from Kaiser. And we need to cut this cardstock so that it is 8 inches by 11.5 inches. So that's 8 by 11.5. Now the next thing I need to do is I need to draw a pencil line 2 inches in from the edge. Now if you've got your paper trimmer out, just go ahead and do this on the paper trimmer by simply moving your paper to the 2.5 inch mark and then just very lightly drawing a pencil line all the way down. So that will give you that pencil line at the 2.5 inches mark. Now I have drawn this lightly because I will eventually be rubbing this line out. Okay, now the next thing I need to do is I need to go ahead and score some of the lines here. Now if you've got a paper trimmer, you can do this with the paper trimmer by simply using a ball tool and scoring down the edge of your lines here. But I have a scoreboard which I do love, so I'm going to switch over to my scoreboard. Okay, so with with this positioned on my scoreboard, so I've got the 2.5 inch position down here on the bottom, I need to start scoring. So as always, you all know that I love to use the ball tool from Kaiser Craft for scoring. And a little tip here guys, if you actually use a bar of soap, just to rub that in the soap, and you'll find that the whole process is much more easily run through, or much more smoother, and it doesn't drag on the paper. So I'm going to score now at the following marks. I've just zoomed this in a little bit so you can actually see. Whoops, too far there. Okay, getting a bit ambitious. So I'm going to score now. So into the soap, I'm scoring at 2 7/8 of an inch. So 2 7/8, and I'm only going to score up to my pencil mark. Only up to my pencil mark. I'm now going to score at 5 3/4. Now this one here, the 5 3/4 score line, I'm going to score all the way down my cardstock. So 5 3/4 all the way down. Next I need to score at 7 5/8. So 7 5/8, and scoring that just down to the pencil line. My next score line is going to be 9 1/2 down to the pencil line, and my final score line is going to be 10 1/2, and that is down to the pencil line. Okay, so once we've done that, we've finished our scoring, so we can put that away for now. Now what I need to do is I need to cut this, and I'm going to cut this from the very first score line. I know this is a little bit hard to see on the video, but the very first score line, I'm going to cut it on the pencil mark down to that last score line, which is just down here. So from the first score line down to that last score line. So I'm using the Kaiser Crafts craft knife, and just remember to change your blades. Very often we just leave them in here until they get rusty and we wonder why we don't get nice cuts. Very important to change those blades frequently. So taking my ruler, I'm going to position that. I'm going to put my point of my knife into that pencil line. I have a steel edge on this ruler here, so it's important to use a steel edge. I'm going to butt that up to the line, and I'm going to move the bottom section in place as well. And then I'm just going to simply go ahead and cut. Now safety is important when you're cutting, guys. It is better to do a couple of passes than to do one really hard pass. Yeah, there's a couple of little bits that was all scrapped. So I've done 3 passes quite gently, and you can see it's comfortably cut what I needed it to. So I've cut from that very first score line down to the last score line. So on with the lid. I have had a couple of nasty cuts, so I am pretty careful with that. So let's just zoom this back out. Okay, so now we need to go ahead and start folding. And starting at the very end here with that little mark down here, the small one, that becomes a mountain fold. So I'm going to press all of this away from me, and I'm just going to finger fold it at the moment. The next fold is a valley fold. Then we have a mountain. Then we have a valley. And finally we have a mountain. Now this last fold here, this last mountain fold, just set this all down on your mat and make sure it's all nicely positioned. Okay, now we have a fold up here that we fold as well. So once we've got to this stage, we can actually get our Kaisercraft burnishing bone folders and burnish it really well. If your card collapses, you know, when you go to stand up and it goes, it basically means that you haven't been aggressive enough with your folding. You do need to make sure they're burnished so the paper is trained to stand the way that you want. So now when you look at this card, it stands beautifully. Okay, we have our steps. We have 1, 2, 3 mountains, and on the other side we have one big mountain here. So that's my card base, now ready to start decorating, which is the fun part. So let me just walk you through how I decorated the Silver Bells card. So I basically used papers from the collections, and you can see the papers that I've actually used. I've also used the collectibles. You'll notice that I've actually 3D'd some elements and actually cut them out and popped them up just to give them a little bit more interest. These are from the sticker sheet, and taking a sticker off, part of this pops up at the back. Now, in order to make that non-sticky, just brush the whole sticker with some talcum powder, or stick it down and then brush the top bit with talcum powder, and it will no longer become sticky. These trees are cut from the beautiful new die cuts from Kaisercraft using the Big Shot machine, and these here are all elements from their collectibles. And then finishing off that card, I've simply just put that Christmas glitter everywhere on Santa's cuffs and his fur, and then just on the snowflakes, just to make it very pretty. So I really think this is a lovely card. I hope you like it. Now, Kaisercraft have also brought out another Christmas range this month, and that's Home for Christmas. And the Home for Christmas card I've done in exactly the same way. So this is my Home for Christmas card, and you can see it's exactly the same in that it has 1, 2 and 3 mountains, but on the back I've used one of the whole square sections from the papers, and I've just stuck that down. So the card again looks lovely and Christmassy, very traditional, this one, with the Christmas trees and this beautiful reindeer from one of the new dies, which is just lovely. I love them to bits. And again, just popping up the poinsettias, which I've cut out from one of the papers here. The leaves, I have just tiered up, so the leaves are going on thinner foam dots and the poinsettias are going on taller foam dots to give it a sense of I guess, 3D elements, so it looks really nice. So those are my 2-step cards. I really hope you like them and hope you have a go yourself. I have listed all the papers that I've actually used to make these cards on this video. And if you've liked the video, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, where you'll get to see lots of other great tutorials using Kaisercraft products. My name's Colette. Thanks for dropping in today. Bye bye.